Hey, what's going on, guys? It's me, Aiden, from Cartoon Apocalypse. Welcome back to another video on the Owl House. This is talking about the 7th episode of the Owl House, and that episode is called Lost in Language. So if you haven't seen it, as always, make sure you go watch it because it was good. But yeah, I'm just going to be talking about some of my thoughts on it. So this episode was definitely like the rival episode where it's like fully establishing sort of who these two rivals are. Because at first the whole rival thing was sort of set up to be between Willow and Amity, but now it seems to have transitioned from Willow and Amity to Luz and Amity. So I think that this episode really showed that development. So we just got to learn more about Amity as a whole because this episode was sort of focused on her. And one of those things that we learned is that she actually has siblings, and those siblings are twins. And they're not just any twins, they're very mischievous twins. So we as viewers obviously knew that the twins were going to cause more trouble for Luz than she knew in the episode, and that's a pretty cliche thing from a show, but that's perfectly okay. But they sneak into the library and it is like the night of the Wailing Star, so some weird things are going to happen, and the thing that ends up happening is the books come to life. If you open up the book, sort of certain things from that book exit the book. And I thought that was a really cool concept, and it's not like we haven't seen anything like fictional things come to life in a show or anything. We've seen stuff like that before, but just the way that it was presented was really interesting, and I feel like we could have seen a lot more if we had more time, but I think the way that this episode was, it was perfectly fine, but it would definitely be something that I would enjoy watching because it's just a really cool concept. So then we have this moment of Amity and Luz sort of like having to get along to, save their lives because this book monster is coming out to get them. So they kind of forget everything that had happened that night. Amity was like, this night never happened, and so we kind of reset, and Luz actually let Amity borrow her book, which was nice. And one thing that I think we gathered from this episode is that Amity is actually a nice person on the inside. She just has to have a hard shell in order for people to not take her spot. And with that, I think Luz's and Amity's relationship is going to get better, but they're still going to be rivals. And I'm thinking sort of in the end, they're going to end up coming together because I think the way that this show is headed is we're going to be seeing more stuff with Ida and her sister. And since Amity sort of wants to be, Ida's sister's apprentice and join the Emperor's Coven, there's going to be some more rivalry stuff there. But I think ultimately they're going to come together in the end and help defeat one side. I don't know. It's still really too early to tell where this show's heading. Now, as far as magic goes, this episode was pretty basic. It didn't really have anything with Luz improving her magic skills, so it was more of, I wouldn't call it a filler. It definitely pushed along the plot, but it wasn't plot, it was more of like character plot. I don't know how to differentiate those two things, but that's what we're gonna put it at. So as far as the story goes, that's probably a better way to put it. As far as the story goes, it didn't really push that side along too much. However, the character relationships definitely is a part of that story, so it did end up pushing that along quite well in this episode. And one last thing I want to mention, everybody seems to be mean to Hootie. What did Hootie do? Am I missing something? I mean, I get that Hootie is sort of I don't know, he can be interesting at times, but what did he do to make all of the characters hate him? I don't know. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments, but to me, Hootie just seems underappreciated, and I want to know why. But yeah, that's really all I wanted to talk about for this episode. This episode was mainly development for Luz and Amity. But yeah, that's gonna be it for me, and I'll talk to you in the next one. Goodbye.
Yee.